Hello everyone. Um, I am screen recording on my phone behind me, so if you hear a little bit of double audio, that is why. So I can post this on YouTube afterwards. And my hair is a mess. Thank you for all of the likes, guys. So, I've got a lot to talk about, and I'm not quite sure where to start, but I'm gonna sort of try to it has been requested of me by a certain young woman who was in my tweet that I not use her name specifically or reference her, and I'm going to do my best not to use her name or give away any of her personal information, but I think that this is important enough that holding back too much of this information could be really not a good thing. Thank you for all of the likes. Alright guys, thank you so much for all the likes again. So, I don't really know where to start, but I guess I will just start from the beginning, from when I was in contact with Greg and Lainey. I have not been contacted by any lawyers yet, just so you know. Get that out of the way first. Anyway. Whew, I'm a little stressed about this. Can you tell? Anyway, so it is very apparent to a lot of people that Onision or Greg and his wife Lainey or Kai have repeatedly pursued very, very young women, some of which were underage, some of which were just freshly 18. And it has become sort of a horrific pattern to not only have seen in real life, but to witness even from afar. And it's kind of a lot to go through, but ever since I spoke out what I witnessed and what was told to me by the young woman who was living in their house at the time, whew, oh, my heart is beating out of my chest, guys, sorry. Yes, we're talking about Onision and Lady. Sorry if you guys are a little but anyway, so ever since I came out and said that I had, heard some things and seen some things in real life, I've actually had a number of people come forward DMing me and sharing their own stories about being contacted by Greg or Lainey about how they intentionally offer them, free trips or concert tickets or a better life or schooling or all of these different things that they're offering to these young women to try to get them to come out and live with them or stay with them or become part of their throuple or whatever you would like to call it. Oh, thank you so much for the likes. And there has been I think maybe a little bit too much stuff on the internet about this already. Like, there's so much evidence that it's shocking to me that they still get away with stuff like this. Anyway, I am recording it. How did Lainey treat me when I visited the house? So Lainey, I think whenever I was there, they were very hospitable, I would say. They were never particularly mean to me when I was there in person, and they, sort of, oh, I'm sorry, I'm choked up right now. I'm really sorry. Anyway, let's just start from what I know And what I know is that Greg Onision has a very long history of contacting underage girls. Shiloh was underage when he found her. Lainey was underage when he found her. Billy was contacted by Lainey when she was freshly 18, which means that Lainey was aware of Billy before she was 18. And it's a little horrifying to watch, because when I went up to visit Greg and Lainey with Billy, my best friend, who I'm sure everybody knows who that is already, no need to explain. There was a young woman there who was essentially their foster daughter. They had filed for legal guardianship of her, and she admitted to me that whenever they first started talking, her and Lainey, that that they had previous discussions where they were flirting back and forth, where they had discussed being in a relationship in the future potentially, and she admitted this to me at 15, which means that these conversations that they had happened previous to that, even younger than when she was 15. And it was very obvious to me at the time that this was a very weird situation. And, having filed for their legal guardianship, they had moved her into their house for her schooling. And they clearly, I think, have, was it discussed whether she would date just Lainey or Lainey and Greg when this happened? So, the issue with Greg and Lainey is Greg is a much older man. He is in his 30s, and Lainey is a very young, she's very young, in her 20s. And so Greg is already a decade older than his current wife now. And I think that after, he had this very long history of contacting underage girls, I think that he sort of aged out of being able to pull off that sort of thing. And Greg now encourages Lainey to reach out to young women, and he encourages her to speak to these young girls or try to date them, and they collectively try to bring out these girls to their home. And I've had a lot of people come forward. Shannon Taylor came forward and said that they, previous to Billy, tried to fly her out and offer her a bunch of like fancy VIP things to come and sort of coerce her into being them. And it's pretty, I think, scary. But the things that I witnessed in their home were a little terrifying. I realized very quickly when I met Greg that he asked a lot of prying questions to try to get more information about me and my life, or anything that I could have gone through that would make me a little more vulnerable. And he even emailed me once 2 years after even seeing him in person, essentially no context. We were not in contact at the time, asking me about my own abuse and asking me in a very manipulative way to explain to him the things that happened to me when I was a child. And it was very obvious to me, even though they had never tried to pursue a relationship with me, that they actively look for women who have trauma in their past or abuse in their past to try to find things that they can easily use against them in their manipulative tactics, to keep them, to not only bring them into their home at a very young age, but also to keep them there and feel as though they don't have a way out, because he knows all of this information about you and he will publicly smear you if you ever speak out against him. Now, I can tell you firsthand, he definitely has publicly smeared multiple people because they chose not to keep themselves in this cycle. Hold on. I'm trying to speak and also read comments at the same time. verbally or physically abusive to their foster daughter. So Greg was never very nice, the young woman they had living there. It was pretty constant that my best friend Billy had to step up and defend her and let Greg know that he couldn't talk to her in specific ways. He would always tear her down or say things that were quite rude and really just offhanded. And in my opinion, he did this to try to sort of deter from the fact that they had intentions. And I think that whenever the internet started asking questions about Sarah living in their house and being so young, they always said, oh, she's just a friend. Oh, this is, nothing is going on. But you can tell that things weren't exactly right because they would send her home. And they filed for her legal guardianship because there was some messy stuff going on in her life at home. And if their true intention was to protect this girl from the life that she was trying to get away from, they would not have sent her home immediately because somebody insinuated that they had poor intentions. And it's pretty obvious that if you are really looking for the best interest of this child, just because somebody says that you have these poor intentions, you would not go back on everything that you had promised them, or just send them home to that situation that was not so great for them. And so it was pretty obvious if somebody was really looking to protect a child, they would not send her home immediately because there were rumors of, what could be a budding romantic relationship. But it was admitted to me that they had not only talked about having a relationship in the future, even when she was just 15, 14 years old, but as you guys can see, she has been living with them, and it's sort of been an ongoing thing. And even when I was there with Billy, who was part of their relationship at some point, it was very evident to me the sort of hidden underlying relationship that Lainey was carrying on with this minor. And I know that Onision Greg has a history of contacting underage girls and dating them and using like the bare minimum laws to sort of skate by, not seeming like he is predatory or not seeming like he actively goes out to reach underage girls. But it's been, how many girls now that they have not only contacted but also dated or brought out to their house, or all of these different things. And it's very evident to me that these patterns are not going to stop. It's very evident to me that they will not even acknowledge the things they're doing. And it's very disheartening to say. I don't really know how to fix this situation. I don't know what, collectively we can do to take this power away from him. Because when you have trained yourself for years and years and years to manipulate and isolate young women, I don't understand like what you can do to end this. I mean, it's very obvious what they are doing. It's very obvious what they have been doing for a long time now. And it clearly started off with just Greg doing these things, and now Lainey has also fallen into the same category where she's contacting underage girls and she's flying them out. So I think that it's pretty obvious what they're doing. I don't even know what else I can say. I mean, since I said anything, I've had multiple people reaching out. I had a young mother saying that she sent me a DM about how there was contact between her two young daughters and Greg, and they had sent pictures back and forth, though I cannot confirm that is true. but I've had Shannon reach out and say that they tried to not really bribe, but sort of spoil her enough to get her to come out. And even my best friend Billy was freshly 18 whenever they contacted her. Do you have solid proof of anything happening, or just hearsay and guessing? I'm really not guessing. I have been to their house. I was there whenever they had a minor living with them, who admitted to me that she had conversations with them about having a relationship in the future. I had my best friend who was in a relationship with them, who was very young when she was contacted. I've had many more young women come out speaking out about the things that they've done. And for a long time, I know a lot of people are asking why I didn't say anything. And it's because after I tried to help Billy get out of this situation that was clearly not good for her, he went on this public smear campaign. And I was scared. I was scared for a long time that I was going to look really bad, or he was going to say something about me. And I was very young at the time as well. And it's been a long time since that, though he did continue to make videos for years after meeting me that one time. But I was intimidated. I was scared. I think it was 2 years after I had even been there that I made a cease and desist video asking Greg publicly to stop talking about me and to stop making videos about me. And I have a long list of emails where, previous to that video that I posted publicly, I asked him to stop using my name and stop using my information, and to, really just cease smearing me publicly. And I dealt with it for a long time without saying anything publicly about what he was doing, even to just me. And I have never seen Greg or Lainey abuse their children in any way. From what I saw, they were very attentive parents. And I don't know that there is anything wrong with their parenting style with their children specifically. I've never seen them do anything to their children that would be considered abusive in any way. Billy ever told anything? So I have heard on multiple accounts that Lainey has been not only naked around minors, but a bunch of different sort of stuff about that. But it's very evident that their behavior is absolutely immoral, and no 33-year-old man or no 22-year-old woman, or however old they are, I know it's around there, but nobody of that age should be talking to minors or trying to date them or bringing them into their home without, a just cause. And if they want to be foster parents or they want to help young women, they would not be going about it this way. Does Greg still try to contact Billy? Yes. Every few months he does. He did stop trying to contact me for a small period of time, though, after I tweeted about what I had witnessed. He did call me and tell me about, he called me and said that there are some things that we needed to discuss. I did not answer the phone when he called, so I just have a voicemail from him. But yeah. Anyway, I didn't pick up the phone, but I had sent him a text message saying if he wanted to say anything to me, he may say it in writing, because I have no interest in having a casual conversation with Greg after everything that he's done to not only myself, but all of these other young women. He did threaten to sue me. Well, not exactly. Whenever I had sent him a text saying that anything he had to say to me, he could say in writing, he essentially just said that his lawyers will be contacting me, which is fine. I don't mind if he sends his lawyers to contact me. I'm really not intimidated by that at all, because I know that I've done nothing wrong, and you cannot scare me anymore into not saying something. Though I am trying to be respectful of one of the young women who is deeply involved in this. I really just don't, I'm not scared. I'm trying to be respectful of this one young woman because she asked me not to speak about her specifically. And I'm doing my best because I do remember what it was like to be 18 years old and have somebody with a huge following smear you and talk about you and say all these bad things. But the truth of the matter is, I have nothing bad to say about that young woman. She was kind to me, and she didn't seem like a bad person to me at all. We had a lot of long conversations at night, just about life and about a bunch of different things. And even though she shared a lot of my personal information with Greg and Lainey, I don't really hold that against her either, because I'm very aware of the manipulative tactics that they use to not only get information out of people, but to also get information about other people. I know that they, even just to me, have gone through many different tactics trying to get me to not speak about them, or using the little that they do know about me to make me look like a bad person. And it's scary to watch. I just feel like this whole thing started with Greg being very predatory to underage girls, and now it has extended into Lainey's territory, where she is now not only facilitating his actions, but also going out on her own, doing the same sorts of things. Will you show the voicemail? I will voicemail for you, but I'm gonna have to stop screen recording, so there's gonna be a cutout in my YouTube video about this, because I am screen recording on this one. Actually, maybe it won't. Hold on. Let's see what we can do here. Go to my... I will play this out loud for you, but I will not be able to put this in my video.
Hey Ayala, it's Greg. I hope you give me a phone call back. Got a few things to talk about. No big deal. Bye.
So he said that to discuss... Ooh. That's so loud. Alright, anyway, so he said that we had a few things to discuss, and he said it was no big deal. So whenever I asked him to discuss those things with me over text message, he just said that his lawyers would be contacting me. But even if they do, I'm really not intimidating. I know that I have done nothing wrong by speaking out about the clearly abusive situations that he participates in and, really creates. Do you think Lainey is groomed, or do you think she's... So my opinion from what I've seen is that Greg has a lot of control in his relationship with Lainey. And it seems pretty evident to me from what that it's not... I don't think it's entirely Lainey's fault that she's doing these things. I do not believe that she's completely innocent. And for somebody who, studies psychology, she cannot be completely blind to what is going on, though I don't know that she realizes the extent of what she's doing. I think that Greg has spent a lot of time sort of manipulating even his own wife to act and behave the way that he would like her to. And I think that Lainey, a lot of the times, because she has anxiety, or she is a very sort of nervous girl, it's easier for her to play the victim and, sit in the background and have Greg take the heat. But from what I've seen, Lainey can be just as vicious as Greg, and Lainey has been just as vicious as Greg, though not as publicly. And I think that is the only huge difference between Greg and Lainey, is Lainey likes to sort of play the bad guy behind the scenes. And even sometimes when Greg does things, it's Lainey backing them instead of really Greg. Greg does act different in real life than he does on the internet. But it's a pretty big difference, I would say. What kind of interactions did you witness? How young are these girls that contact? Well, they are pretty young. So they're not prepubescent girls, but there have been people who have come forward saying that they were 12, 13, 14 years old. And it is, I feel like even that is pretty young. I'm only 21 years old, and I could not imagine, flirting with a 14-year-old right now. I could not imagine trying to carry on a relationship with somebody that young. And I'm younger now than they were even then. And I just, oh God, it's so much. Anyway, what cost you to grab? Oh my goodness, there's so much stuff going on in this chat right now. Sorry guys. No, neither of them ever tried anything romantic with me at all. That was never their intentions with me. Though they did offer, and they did have in their plan to move me out there with my best friend at some point. They said that in a perfect world we would both be living there whenever their previous tactics did not work. Who is worse in your opinion, Greg or Richie? In my opinion, it's Greg. Richie is dishonest in his relationships. He's a cheater, but he does not have such a long history of contacting and starting romantic relationships with underage girls. Oh my goodness. Sorry, I'm trying to read. My eyesight's bad. Anyway, have you ever seen Lainey being vicious? Oh, absolutely. She does it in a very different way than Greg. Greg is upfront and very, he's very vocal about what he's doing and where he stands and what he's, and Lainey, again, plays the bad guy from the background, and she lets Greg, sort of lead the charge in the fights that she would like to have. What weird things did you witness? I witnessed, it's not even that everything that I witnessed was weird, because at the time I wasn't really putting two and two together. When I was in their home, I didn't really realize until Sarah had said something to me. I said her name. Oh no. Until that young woman said something to me about the romantic relationships that they would try to carry on with her. Well, that Lainey would anyway, though I have no information on whether or not Greg intended to be involved in that relationship, though from all of the screenshots from women who have come forward, it seems pretty evident that Greg will implement himself in any romantic relationship that Lainey is in. That is what he did with Billy, and that is what he tried to do with Haley, and that is clearly the MO. It was pretty evident. But whew, was this young woman promised a relationship? I know that they had discussions about being in a relationship in the future. I don't know that they ever missed to be with her, but it was admitted to me that even at a very young age, they had spoken to her about maybe in the future, maybe whenever she was a little older or they couldn't get into any legal trouble, that they would be willing to date her or to facilitate a relationship with her. Are you scared by all this? Truthfully, a little bit. My heart's kind of been beating out of my chest all day. I really wanted to just come forward and talk about all of these different things that happened. But if you look even at just the things that have blown up on Twitter since I came out, there has been so many different young women coming forward, like Shannon or Haley or Lane, all of these different people coming forward with their own information and their own stories about what Greg has done to them that has absolutely nothing to do with even what I have said. He has done this to so many different people, and she has done this to so many different people, and they work collectively to find these young girls and to contact them, and they offer them money and presents and free trips, concert tickets. They offer them so much to come and live there, to convince them that they will have a better life because they have money and they have a big house and they have all of this stuff that they can give to them. Anyway. Did Lainey ever shout or scream at Billy? They did get into a couple of screaming fights while I was there, though there was a lot of communication in their relationship, so that is not surprising. Have you spoken to the police or a lawyer looking to see if there's anything? So legally, there is not a whole lot that I can do. Of grooming, either the parent of the child or the child itself has to come forward and speak on that and pursue it themselves. And so from what I have seen and what I have researched, there is nothing legally that I can do to stop them. The best thing that I can do is to come out and to speak and to tell you what I have witnessed and what other people have experienced, so that, you know, the next time a young girl gets contacted by these people, she will understand that this is not something that she should be doing and this is not something that they should be doing. And it's been pretty crazy. I'm not sure if they have intention to be on the Yeah, well, I think that they always come across originally the way that with no true intentions. I think that a lot of times when they speak to these young women, they don't immediately jump in and ask for the things that they're looking for. I can tell you that when Billy, my best friend, was in a relationship with Lainey, that there were things sprung on her that she never agreed to, but when she was there, she was just supposed to be okay with, and it was it's pretty, but Greg specifically uses a lot of tactics to keep people silent and to not speak about it, and he clearly went on a smear campaign about my best friend and I. What were those things? Well, if you look up, even just Google manipulation tactics, there's not really a point that he doesn't hit. So he tries to find where you're vulnerable. He tries to get information about you. He asks pointed questions. The way he words things are very pointed, so you can either he either paints you as this bad person in the way that you answer or you agree with him. And it's the way that he speaks. It's the way he communicates with people. It's the way it's really a lot of different things. And if you are aware of these sort of manipulation tactics, it's pretty easy to pick up on. But if you don't know, it's very easy to get taken advantage of like that. But I have a long history of dealing with manipulative people. I'm very good with my words and the way that I structure my sentences. And to me, when I went there, it was very evident that he was prying, or he was sort of asking pointed questions and doing that sort of thing. And I actually went out of my way to not give Greg a lot of information about myself or my life, because I could tell that he was digging and he was trying to sort of get as much as he could out of me. And I realized pretty quickly the way that he was doing that. So a lot of the issues that I would normally have, I actually avoided because I caught on pretty quick to what he was doing. I'm running out of breath. Oh my goodness. How did Billy get out? We left. I took her to my friend's house. Hold on. How old were you when you visited them? I was 18. I was freshly 18 years old. I think. Wait, no, I might have been 19. No. Oh goodness, I don't even remember. It was so long ago. I was 18 or 19 when I went there, and I'm even younger than Billy. But yeah, I'm even younger than Billy. So I was 18, 19 years old at the time, though I'm 21 right now. I don't know if my timeline lines up. I also have a brain injury, so my like timelines are not very good. Sorry. 19 maybe. Something like that. I was either 18 or I had just turned 19. Is Greg the primary force? Oh my goodness. Has Lainey contacted Billy? Yes, they both have since everything happened. Alright guys, I'm not here to discuss what happened with Billy and Greg today. I'm here to discuss their patterns of going after underage girls. I cannot sit here and rehash every single thing that happened between them and Billy. Would take for that's not what I'm talking about today. I've never seen them abuse their animals, but I think abusing young women is enough of an issue. They don't need to abuse their own children and their pets to be not good people. They clearly have a lot of issues. Do you think Greg is restarting his forums to lure other girls? I really have no idea. I'm hoping that because all of these women are coming forward and because we are finally willing to share our stories of what we experienced, that he will not be able to do those sorts of things anymore. Fingers crossed this makes a difference, because clearly nothing else has. How many girls came to you saying that Greg and Lainey have pursued them? I don't know. Do you want me to count them up in my head really quick? More than 5. I've had more than 5 people come out to me since I tweeted about what I witnessed, about them offering them, money or trips, or even just being in contact with these underage girls, or sometimes just freshly 18 to avoid legal conflict. Are you sure that they are authentic? A lot of them I can provide proof that they are authentic. Some of them, some of things that I have not brought up because I do not have any proof behind, and I'm not here to give you false information. Anyway, but I'm not to give out, false accusations. I'm here to tell you about what is true, what I witnessed myself, and people who have proof about what is going on. Oh my goodness. Will you ever post them with their permission? It really depends on the person or what they are willing to share. Because they are not my stories to share. If they ask me to use my platform to get this information out, then I would be more than happy to. Do you think that the recent GoFundMe campaigns are secretly made to fund luring in women? No, I'm sure that GoFundMe is to do with the land that he destroyed. Did they ask you to speak up for them, and are they scared of Onision? I did have someone ask me to speak out about this issue, and I had been avoiding it for a long time. because I was scared and intimidated because I didn't want to get smeared for a really, really long time, and I was getting smeared for a long time, but there's not really a whole lot of damage that he can do to me now. But the point is it was requested of me to speak out on this issue, and I feel like it had been long enough that I had the courage to do it. Um, working on any albums? Yes, I am writing new music